Hi, before we get started, I'd just like to remind you that on my website there's all the information on my workshops, my online workshops, there's books and paintings and all that kind of stuff on there. So if you're interested in that, please do check it out. The link's in the description to the video. Okay, let's get on. I was doing a workshop last week and I was chatting to some of the people who are on the course just about some of the things that I take out with me that make my life a little bit easier. So I thought it'd be quite a good idea just to go through some of that stuff with you now. And it's nothing special, it's nothing magic or anything like that. But I always think it's a good idea to just try and minimise your kit down, not take too much stuff with you because of the weight. You don't want to be lugging too much stuff around. And so some of the things I've got here, they just help me get more out of my work because I'm not kind of taking too much and carrying too much with me. I don't want to go through the palette that I use right now. This isn't really about that. It's more about some of the other things I have with me. So I'll do another one and I'll talk more about the different colours that I use and why I use them and things like that. But for now, I just want to talk about these few things I've got here. So firstly, the paper that I use, and I know a lot of people ask me about it, and it's generally this 200 gram cartridge paper. 200, 220. I know in America it's called different things, Bristol paper, that kind of thing. But basically it's any kind of heavyweight drawing paper. And I use A2. And I like to use A2 because it means I can make a nice big mark. And then when I'm collaging and cropping them down, I get a big mark in a small space and it helps with the impact of the work. So I don't want to go too much into that now. I just want to talk about the paper briefly. So like I said, it's 200 gram. It's got a decent weight to it. It takes the water quite well, but I don't soak the paper that much. I try to use mostly paint, don't use a huge amount of water. And so yeah, I find it works really well. It tears nice and easy when I'm collaging. So that's that, 200 gram cartridge paper, drawing paper. It's nothing special, it's not watercolor paper or anything like that. It's simple, it's cheap, and it just works. But what I did want to talk about was what I use to hold the paper. So I've kind of made this folder, and it's like it's actually made out of the backing from one of the gummed pads that I buy the paper in. And all I've done is I put a bit of tape down the middle of it to stop it cracking when I fold it over. And I use that as my kind of drawing board when I'm outside. And the reason I fold it over like that is because I can get my paper, and like I said, it's A2 paper, and I can put it in the folder, fold it over. I got a bulldog clip which holds it together. These are quite good because I don't have the bits that stick out. And what I do with that is I tuck it into my rucksack that has all my painting. So I've got both my hands free for walking the dog, taking photos or whatever. So I find that really handy, and I don't worry too much about the paper getting a crease in it. Because you might think, that's no good, it's got a big crease in it. I'm not trying to make finished work while I'm outside, it's just sketching, getting ideas for my work. And so the fact that I've got a bit of a crease in it, it's not a tight crease, it's just a little fold. It doesn't bother me at all. And I find when the paper gets a bit of water on it, it just flattens out. But I know that I'm not going to be just using these paintings straight off. I'm going to be bringing them back, I'm going to be cropping them down, using a lot of collage, and then when they're finished, they're all a bit wrinkled up anyway, and I always flatten them down under a couple of weighted boards, so you never see this crease, and it just doesn't bother me at all. I'd much rather have a bit of a crease in the paper and to be carrying it easily without having to lug a big A2 drawing board around. And I do need something to lean on, rather than just having the painting straight on the ground or leaning against the wall or something like that. And I find that just works absolutely fine. So that's the paper. And the next thing I wanted to talk to you about was this, and obviously you need something to put your water in. This is like an old soup tub or something like that. But crucially, it's just about big enough to fit my paint pot in. This has got some white paint in it, I'll just talk about that in a sec. But that fits inside that one, and I know that sounds really simple and obvious, but that goes in my bag like that. I haven't got two things taking up space in my bag, fits inside the other one, and it just makes packing a little bit easier. Now in here, all I've got is an old coffee tub, is my white acrylic. When I'm painting, I do tend to dip my brush in the paint pot. I don't want to be doing that in my nice fresh tub of white paint because it's going to get mixed up with different colours. It's going to make a right old mess. So what I do is I will decant some of this paint into here, and like I said, it's a coffee tub, a bit of gaffer tape over it to stop it spilling in the bag. And it's just that, that's all it is. You just put a bit of paint in here, out of that tub. And the other thing about that, like I said, put that back on there, stop it spilling, is that it's a lot lighter. This is a full tub, it's quite heavy. I'm just taking what I need. I don't want to take a whole tub of paint. You know, I've got a nice fresh one here. Maybe when it's half empty, it's not so bad, but it's a full tub of paint. It's got a bit of weight to it. This is much lighter. Again, minimizing the kit, minimizing the weight, more likely to go out. The next thing I always take with me is this old salad cream or ketchup tub. This is a salad cream one. And what I've got in there is a Payne's Grey, and it's got a sort of mixture that I make just out of some black and some Prussian blue. So I just put a bit of black and a bit of Prussian blue in there, and I make a mix of Payne's Grey. And then I put a little bit of water in there, so it's a little bit runny. It's not watery, it's not like a wash. It's got some, body to it still, but it's fluid. And that's really good because obviously it's squirty. I can squirt that onto my paper, gets the paintings moving. You've probably seen me do it on other videos where I'm starting off a painting and I splash a bit of water on the page and then I squirt something on it like that that's dark. And that's all that is. It's not ink, it's not acrylic ink or anything like that. All it is my pre-mixed kind of Payne's Grey that I make with black and Prussian blue. And I just find it's quite a nice way to get the painting started. It's a fluid paint. So it really starts to move around, gets it going, gets rid of the white of the paper and gets it moving straight off. And I just find that's a really useful way of doing it. I used to kind of mix it while I was out. I used to have a little tub with me and I'd mix a bit of black and the Prussian and put a bit of water in it. And but I thought, well, why don't I pre-mix it? And I'm ready to go. So no mucking about. Like I said, again, nice and simple, gets it going. I always think that these things are good. If you've got things that make your life easier, you're more likely to go out and get things done. And the last thing I just want to show you today is my secret weapon, and that is my gardening pads. You might have seen me using these as well. I kneel down quite often when I'm painting outside, and my knees are not as young as they used to be. So I need something to kneel on, and I did have like a mat or like a yoga mat. That was quite good. The yoga mat's quite good. It's just quite big. You can get an old one, you can roll it out, put all your stuff on it. That does actually work quite well, and you can always try that as well. So the thing I'm using at the moment is these gardening knee pads. They're like memory foam type things, and they've got Velcro on. So you put them over my knees. I can kneel down for longer without hurting my knees, and yeah, just makes my life a little bit easier, makes it a bit more comfortable. Because I don't like sitting, I don't like to take a chair, I don't want to sit down when I'm painting. I find the posture of sitting down too passive. I like to be able to kind of throw my body into the work. If I can find a wall or a dry stone wall so I can stand up, that's my favourite, really, standing up painting. But if I am kneeling down, if I'm by a river or something like that, or by the sea, gardening knee pads. So that was it, just a quick one today. Just wanted to do that and talk about some of the things I take out with me. Obviously, again, if you're interested in any of my workshops or online workshops, anything like that, check out the link in the description to the video to my website, or follow the link that's on the screen. Okay, well, hopefully you'll get out and do some painting, keep it simple, and I'll see you soon.